Our next speaker, I know when I went to college, I majored in journalism, and the only reason was to avoid calculus. But our next speaker did it all for the right reasons. Please welcome the founder of Flyover Media, Jacob Zlomke.
Thank you. I was born and raised in Nebraska. I graduated from the university here in 2013 with an English degree. And except for a few summers spent in the western part of the state, I've lived here in town ever since. I majored in English because I wanted to become a better fiction writer. But like a lot of young male writers, I was mostly interested in writing thinly fictionalized versions of my own life. Thankfully, it didn't take me long to realize that my life experience is not particularly unique, nor is my worldview particularly enlightening. So throughout college, I was slowly drawn to nonfiction and journalism, which helps explain these images you're seeing behind me. These are photos taken by photojournalists I know. You can see their names on the final slide. Each photo has been published by Flyover Media, a journalism nonprofit at which I'm a director and which I helped found with 3 others. I won't spend too long talking to you about the organization because you can find that information online, and because I'm actually here to talk about why we do what we do. We're a cultural education nonprofit which produces, publishes, and supports in-depth multimedia journalism about rural and underrepresented communities. Essentially, we operate a website which publishes multimedia feature stories. We emphasize subjects that traditional media outlets don't have either the interest or the resources to cover extremely well. The organization has its roots in a project called Flyover Me. For several years, I've been interested in kind of finding a way to explain rural Nebraska to people, since that's where my roots are. It's the same as any other place in that there's no other place like it. You won't understand it until you know it. So Flyover Me is an attempt to explain that part of the Sandhills region, particularly Valentine and Cherry County. We wanted to help outsiders know the place the way that people that live there know it. So we moved there, and over the course of 2 summers produced a website, documentary, and book that together hopefully go some of the way creating that understanding. Later, we founded Flyover Media as a way to publish more work from more people with a similar mission. So when I use the phrase empathetic journalism, that's the kind of work I'm referring to. First and foremost, it's in-depth. The work meets its subject where they're at and withholds judgment. It understands how a cattle rancher views himself, as well as the myriad and often complex circumstances that produce his worldview. This type of journalism differs from news reporting, which is necessarily brief and to the point. Both are important, but this in-depth kind of storytelling foregrounds a person with hopefully different experiences from you, the audience. We all like to read about people we relate to, but the most good doesn't come from a Sandhills rancher reading about another Sandhills rancher. It's going to come from someone who has never considered a rancher before, being exposed to his ideas with, and here's that word again, empathy. So why does it matter? Why should someone who will live their entire life in Los Angeles County, for instance, care how and why a rancher in Cherry County makes his decisions? That person certainly has no obligation to care. So a primary goal of empathetic journalism is not only to present the information, but to present it in a way that is compelling. So if I'm doing my job right, you don't have to come to it already interested. I'll make you interested. It's important to me, and to every journalist that I know, to make that person care, because we live in a complex and interconnected world, and the problems of a Nebraska rancher and the decisions he makes in regards to those problems may have a profound impact on people other than himself, even as far away as California. In this example, it can be as simple as droughts impacting beef prices. So I don't think journalism, even this in-depth, empathetic journalism I'm talking about, could save the world or solve global problems. It doesn't shelter the homeless. It doesn't feed the famished. Journalism only conveys information. But my hope and my sincere belief is that when that information is conveyed in a compelling and humanizing way, it will help its audience consider the way their decisions impact those with different lifestyles. It's not a solution itself, but it's a tool to help us reach informed and equitable solutions to problems with global implications. I suppose I say all this up here to encourage you to seek out and spend time with in-depth journalism. Spend time learning about people who are not like you, who have different daily concerns and different circumstances from yourself. When you do, I think you'll find 2 things. 1, that you have an immense capacity to care for people you'll never meet. And 2, while their lifestyles may be different from yours, the things they want are remarkably similar. You'll find yourself relating to them. Thanks.